outlining a master plan for the marina, or in Grand Bend. And not very many of those projects are, if council wished, I could bring that report back. And I know for sure the dock upgrades, we have a pretty good estimate of the cost. And council have to consider whether or not they want to put that in the capital plan.
There needs to be. Councilor Blair.
One of my big concerns is the chain walls that you have there. I mean, the water rolls below them. Most times in engineer's plan, they plan that the water pressure will help retain that wall in place. And without that, back to the ring and stuff like that.
That's the issue with dredging deeper. Is you dredge the bottoms. There's nothing there to.
This again goes back to what I've been saying for a year. We don't own this. We lease it. But we're bearing all the PR disaster on it, all the challenges and everything else. And I think at the end of the day, you gotta look at what are the asset-driven revenues here and what is the expense. And I realize it's tourism and everything else, but I think we almost have to create a crisis on this with the federal government. And these guys have been divesting for years.
Yeah.
Historical sites and everything else.
And I believe this site, when I was at Blue Water, we pursued divestiture with them, with DFO, and basically the comment we got back from DFO is that they will fund capital upgrades of this nature at their sites that they plan to divest. The challenge, and I believe it applied to the Grand Bend Harbor, and I actually have a question out to them now, waiting to confirm, but I believe that there's still historical First Nations land claim for along the stretch of the shoreline, and they will not divest properties that are in those types of areas.
So we have to demonstrate liability then to the federal government, say we'll send a lawsuit your way.
Or you know, you have the other option of saying we're not going to renew the lease and you can have it. I know, and maybe that's not a realistic approach, but
I think it is. I think it is. I think you've got to create a crisis here.
Councilor Russell was first.
Go back to the saline issue. All I brought it up for was you have to, whether we create a crisis or not, they've created a crisis by not looking at the things. You know, or you can just look at the Port Stanley example to see one that's been going on for 20 years and they still haven't solved it. So I think the good part about it is the leadership was taken by former councils in Grand Bend to make a deal with the federal government. That'll be imperfect, right? But we have been told, 2009, whatever, we've been told that there's certain things that need to be done. I think that should be in the forecast here. I think we should be looking at that and saying, okay, well, when are we going to fund that? Because until you have that picture and the current dollars to do it, forget about the low water right now just for a second, you know, but that larger picture thing, because if major investments were put in, it's going to get hard, blah, blah, blah. We've been told for 10 years that it's time to start thinking and waiting. Sooner than later, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You fix things before they're completely broken right now.
So what do you want to do?
I'm just saying that you need to include this in somewhere that staff are saying, here's a description of the future as it should be, or futures. We need to hire a consultant to do it, or to bring it up today. I don't know. But it's 3 years ago now, 4 years ago.
We need a redevelopment plan for the harbor facility. Everything.
That's exactly my point. If you're renting a house, you're not going to put capital money into a house you're renting. You're not going to put a new roof on just because
So
it's
how can you go to the federal government and describe something to them, a complaint about a partnership that maybe is unequal, if we don't have a plan to show them?
But then that's, okay, then let's get the plan.
I think, in all honesty, I believe the report that came forward in 2009, I have a copy of it, read it, and I think it's quite good at outlining what is a good future approach. So why don't I just renumber it, take credit for it, and bring it back?
Sounds good. Let's do it. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, it's also become obvious to me in this discussion that we need to be planning now for our meetings with the various department heads at Ontario Good Roads and AMO, and that I believe that we need to have, I'm going to make a motion for a staff report on what our potential meetings could be for the end of February and in the summer, and what's realistic about where the reports can be done within that time frame, within a 2-month time frame, and then an 8-month time frame. So if we could have a report suggesting what of these issues that we've discussed at various times we need to speak with whoever, and get these rolling so we know.
Get something back for the last meeting in January. When's the what do we have to ask?
The deadline is the 18th of January. We have a small report coming on Monday.
Oh, you do?
For possibilities for that.
Okay, or we could potentially add some suggestions
notice here, Brent, you got the boat launch ramp,
Mm-hmm.
you said for 2014. Is that the same amount that we've budgeted the last couple of years? We just we've kept pushing that out?
Yes, I believe it's been, was it inflated this year? It wasn't, it's been inflated to match what inflation has been,
Okay.
right? Yes, it's the same project we've been budgeting for.
Because I know from last year, especially in the fall, there was a lot of boats, there's a lot of issues with trying to get boats
Yeah.
out in the year because the ramp isn't long enough now.
Yeah, and really the only reason we pushed it out this year was that there was just so many other projects brought forward for 2013, we just felt we were spending probably too much money in one year trying to spread out the cost.
Right? We can get the water to rise, and save a lot of dollars, Port French Harbor there, see the green roof on here at $12,000, it'd be nice to move that forward a year and get that done. It's one of those things that I'm sure the life of that roof, the lifespan of that roof could be protected if we did that sooner, but
That 12,000 is only for engineering. That's for the structural review and the design plan to actually put the green roof on.
Okay.
The actual cost of the green roof we won't know until after engineering is on.
we don't have a roofing company that's willing to put an advertisement on top of it and do it for us.
I think we still do the structural inspection.
Structural stuff,
Yeah.
check that out.
12 grand for this.
Councillor Russell?
Green roof, what is it? The living roof?
Yeah.
Green roof?
At the,
Well, it's seven, so I mean, it's.
on the pavilion,
I understand.
it's up and down and
Yeah.
it needs, that was part of the original plan for the beach enhancement when it was part of it. Okay. Deputy Mayor Knight?
I'd just like to know what the new Gatehouse Gardens will be for $2,000. I understood that things were kind of getting out of control and that we needed to reduce that to some degree and
Yeah.
be more strategic.
Yep.
So is that for gate, that's for?
No, that's just for signage, actually.
Oh, it's for signage
Yeah.
only?
Part of the plan is to continue to use Return to Landscape to help us. Those gardens were intended to be naturalized and they became naturalized with non-native species, so the plan is to remove the non-native species using Return to Landscape's expertise and then make it naturalized. And then we'll replace the signage to explain what's there and then also include some, we're getting a lot of free service from Return to Landscape. Basically the deal we've made with them is that we'll use a portion of the sign to give out their message as well.
Okay, that's good. As long as it's correct.
Okay. And page 22, we got 10 grand in there for the irrigation system. Monday,
We already discussed that.
that's with partners, okay.
That's excellent.
24 is spray plant,
Just on the other ballpark, and that's still going in the outro, but there's partners on that as well, right?
So what were we talking about, White Park?
2018.
2018?
okay. Commissioner Park. Any other questions on the capital? Wayfinding signs, you got 35,000 in there. And then, community signs,
Hey, John.
26.
Just a question on the wayfinding signs. I know it's this, the Economic Development Committee in the offing. Is that gonna tie in, I mean, is there going to be sort of a connection between that and? Okay, is there gonna be some kind yeah, you'd hate to see this committee go and have some ideas and then bang, we've gone, I'm just wondering how we tie that together.
I think there has been an attempt to